Minuto, minuto. Segura, segura o clipe. Segura aí, segura aí, segura aí. Segura. Segura.
Please close the door. Please sit down. We're going to first show you guys a Freemind video clip to begin our opening ceremony.
Estar aqui hoje é um gesto de coragem, de compromisso e de amor. Coragem, porque tratamos de problemas sensíveis, complexos, ainda cercados de preconceitos e de muita desinformação. Compromisso, porque cada um de nós aqui escolheu dedicar seu tempo mais precioso para trocar experiências e buscar soluções concretas.
Love, because everything that will be discussed in this event has as goal to protect lives, strengthen families, and take care of Brazil's future. That is why we must say that in these following days of learning and gatherings, we won't leave the place with all the answers, but we will leave the place stronger, better prepared, and more united to face the threats of chemical dependency and behavioral addictions that are always threatening our houses, communities, and our country. We are here for the promise of sharing recent knowledges based on real experiences of success across the world, based on scientific evidence. And once more, we are fulfilling our clause of the Freemind mobilization, which is to help people help more people. And now, authorities of the legislative, executive, and judiciary, civil society, what now? Educators, health professionals, social workers, what now? Mothers, fathers of families. Ladies and gentlemen, this Congress is not just a big event. This is a calling, an invitation for each one of us to be the protagonists in the fight against behavioral addictions, chemical dependency. We're facing a time of mobilization, great transformations marked by strengthen and the worshiping of the spirit of unity. So welcome all of us to the 10th International Freemind Congress 2025. Good morning. Good morning. So we were here on a Sunday, a plain Sunday. The first Congress was in IMB, São Paulo. It was also a Sunday, the opening, and it was like this. And it's the first day of the week, and it's the day we're able to change our lives. When we began with this Congress 6 months ago, our staff started to think about the topics and so on. And I wrote down a text inspired by what my brother wrote in the first Congress, which was the letter of unity. And I want to read this text while my team organizes everyone that will be part of the opening ceremony. I always cry when I read this text, so you can put the song that makes me cry, but let's humility that unites, silence that sanctifies, and spirit that harmonizes. At times of noise and divide, we have to remember that absolute certainty is against unity. When we are attached to our truths, we do not listen to, we do not um, communion arises from listening, not imposition. Likewise, ambition is based on sanctity. When wanting to be the highlight, the spotlight, or contain or controlling invades our intentions. Even the most noble of them are broken. Real sanctity is built in the silence of giving oneself away from the spotlight and close to the other. That is when the spirit of unity is harmony itself, not harmony made of forced uniformity, but the one that arises from love, that unites what is different, that reconciles what was hurt, that transforms chaos in communion. Spirit is the presence that pacifies, the gentle voice that balances, and the gentle breath that guides. May we leave aside our arrogant certainties, our hidden ambitions, and open to the action of spirit that ordains everything with wisdom, peace, and love. Always keep in track your starting point. In a world that values the top, it's easy to forget where we came from. But within the rationale of the kingdom, always remember your starting point, which is not just a memory, it's the root of your calling. It's where God whispered for the first time that you had a calling, a mission, a purpose. That is where, in simplicity of the beginning, that lies humility and truth. That is where the strength to carry on arises and not getting lost. Because people, when you forget where you come from, you may believe you're the owner of the path, and those that think are better than others does not listen to God anymore. Look ahead, but with your feet stuck to your origins. There's no mission without memory, and there's no calling without roots. Welcome, everyone. If you do not know me, I know there are people that are here for the first time. My name is Paolo Martelli, and with my brother, we are the organizers, realizers of Freemind Mobilization Bede, which is my young brother. He was the idealizer. He'll be here tomorrow. I'm the president of the Freemind Association Brazil, and I would like to really thank from the bottom of your heart, my heart, all that is here, everyone that is here. There we have some important figures here, but the most important people here are the ones that are increasingly closer to those that need them. What we'll do in these 4 days is share information, and at the end of the presentation, I will show you some tips, and I will call everyone that will be part of this panel. And it was so hard. You have no idea of how hard it is. I would like that the panel will be the opposite. Everybody that's sitting down in the audience would be on stage and the opposite. But we need to follow this ritual and follow a criteria, which is to represent civil society. Civil society has the first, second, and third sector. So we're going to bring people that are protagonists of these sectors today in civil society, that only with organization you can actually solve our chemical dependency problems. So I'd like to call on stage, and I'd like for you to, every time I call a name, you give a big round of applause because it's a Sunday, 10 a.m. It's not easy, especially if you're coming from a long distance. Marta Machado, National Secretary of Policy on Drugs on the Ministry of Politics and Public Safety. Felício Ramon, Vice Governor of São Paulo State, but a great friend of Freemind. Samuel Falcão, Director of the entities of caring and the Ministry of Social Development. There's so many people from Piauí here that I thought I was at Piauí State, not Brasilia. Now, this person I'm calling, I have to make a disclaimer. This guy was essential for us to be here today. Essential. He came live with the Santos football team at the last Congress saying, it's going to be in Brasilia. Don't worry, it's in Brasilia for sure. And Santos won my team yesterday, Palmeiras. José Alberto, Secretary of Government of the Federal District. Welcome. I'd also like to call Bia Kisses, federal congresswoman for the federal district, representing the legislative. And now I'd like to also call the true representative of the municipality, because it's in the municipality where the citizen lives, and it's in the city level that we have to implement action. So Luis Carlos Rossini, my great friend of mine, please come on the stage. President of the Legislative House of Campinas, representing all the legislative houses across Brazil, more than 6,000 towns and cities, also crying because he also supports Palmeiras, but that's okay. Now I'd like to call Andrea Escolar. Welcome, Andrea. She's the representative of the Organizations of American States, of CICAD, with the Inter-American Commission for the Control of and Against the Abuse of Drugs, who's bringing to us a course developed by Father Charlie, helping entities based on faith, but based also on scientific evidence. Welcome, Andrea. I'd also like to thank Barbara Correa. Please come on stage. Our dear Barbara is the representative of ISAP, Global ISAP. And for you who don't know, in this Freemind, we'll be launching a new format of the ISOP of the national chapter with the consortium of entities. Then we have a panel just on that. Welcome, Barbara. I'd like to also like to call on stage Dr. Hermano Tavares from the Institute of Psychiatry of the University of São Paulo, representing all the professionals that work with mental health. He's a great person, reference not only in Brazil but also in the world, renowned professional not only in Brazil but across the world. Also, Dr. João Paulo Becker Lotufo, our dear Dr. Bartô. He's representing the Brazilian Society of Pediatrics and therefore all entities of classes that are so important in a civil society. And I would also like to call that together with Zé Humberto, Adalberto Calmon, representing all the entities that work with serving and taking care of this little guy. He's the best. He's the man. He's the man. This little guy, he is the man.
Deu certo. Estamos aqui, né? Vamos lá.
I'd like to invite, because us, we who work in this field, it's a enormous spiritual fight. So whoever works with that needs to have a spiritual director, because when you fall and you have problems, then he picks you up. Father João Henrique, founder of the Aliança de Misericórdia, representing all entities that work with social insertion. He's a visionary who left Italy to become a Brazilian. I'd also like to invite Lúcia Isdoia from the Father Haroldo Institute, and who's representing all volunteers, who are many people here in Brazil who work here. And she represents Father Haroldo himself. So a round of applause so that he can hear us upstairs. I am almost done here. Now, Marcos de Oliveira Pereira from the Arcanjo Institute. He's a businessman and he represents all the Congress's sponsors. Thank you very much. Because without money, we can't do something like this. So, and he is a man from God who has helped us and will give us some news, some good news, and he will tell us later. And to end, a dear friend of mine from Campinas, who has already been a representative, a House representative, and he helped us a lot, and he knows how much I cried for him to help us. Alexis Fontanelli, he's a businessman from Campinas representing the private sector. He comes from Campinas and will go back to Campinas today. He's a great friend.
Vocês não sabem, o meu filho.
And my son, who's over there, Leo, studied with his son. And through Leo, I met him. Thank you, Leo. Well, let's continue. Now we will listen to the Brazilian national anthem, and then I will open the floor for for everyone to talk from 3 to 5 minutes, otherwise we will not finish today.
Podem se assentar, por gentileza.
You can take your seats, thank you. I think there are microphones over there. So I'll start with my friend here. First of all, congratulations for this 10th Congress. It's amazing to see such a big audience. I will not name people, otherwise I will have no time. But anyhow, Paulo, me as a businessman, I saw the epidemic that's the issue of chemical dependency, many issues in society, and as a father, our great concern, we have this concern of seeing our children well, and behavioral addiction, we have been seeing that a lot, and I'm very happy to see that organized civil society is involved in that, not only waiting for public authorities to solve the issues, because these issues are in our homes, in our everyday lives, and there's no way we can pretend they're not there. And it's an issue for our nation. We have to pay attention because we have problems in education in our nation. And if you have problems regarding addiction, we cannot talk about the Brazil of the future, thinking about our workforce with that issue. I'd like to congratulate Paulo because he's a tireless warrior and he has been insisting. He asked in Minas and he went there. I helped Father Haroldo a lot with a huge pleasure because in Campinas we know the work the institution does. And Bia, right, we seek correct entities to work well. So that's it, Paulo. Thank you very much for the invite, and I hope you have a great Congress in these days to come. Good morning, everyone. Márcio Machado, our Secretary João Humberto. I greet you all. Thank you, Paulo, for the invite. And now I have discovered Freemind as a tool for us to be more effective and understand better the necessary public policies so that we can take care of others. We come from a company that has been thinking for a while about how to participate in this third sector agenda. And we are organized, and today the Group Cerrado, we have various activities linked to public regulation as financial advisory, and we see that there's a need to talk about this from a different angle. We know that in the regulation environment we have today, and with so many leaders, and especially leaders in public administration that are willing to make efforts. So on our side, we organized ourselves, we created an institute. Actually, it's an association, Arcanjos Association based on Law 3800. So we are a philanthropy association, and we understand that where we can allocate resources to generate more impact. We help entities and public authorities so that the private sector can also allocate not only its resources but experience as well. We have a big demand that is the ESG agenda. Right, all companies are working on the ESG. It's a huge tax load, cost of credits, and etc. But when we understand and organize ourselves how we can be effective, we can be a great asset and offer support, right? And to do better as well. Sometimes it's not only about money, it's how to apply money and how to manage it. So today, our association, today we we make investments, we have a rule, we have governance rule, 5% of all net profit of our associates go to Associação Arcanjos so that we can understand what are the needs to help with governance, because I believe that ESG starts with the G of governance, not with the money. We think that only funding is necessary, but we must know how to invest and how to allocate this funding and how can we do that more effectively together with public authorities so the private sector can even address that agenda better when we work together. And that's what we do. We are based here in Brasilia. Because we want to debureaucratize, remove red tape, and be more effective for the next 2 years, our mission. We have been working this project for 3 years. And a few months ago, we have been working on for 3 years. And our goal is to see where are the most problematic issues. So we have to think about tax benefits and try to convince people that it's worth to work with us. So what about the cost? How about thinking about it for a long term? We have many institutions here, such as Fazenda da Esperança. We are helping them to rethink their governance So we have a mission in the next 2 years is to raise 12 million and to get to know these entities and understand how they can have more efficient tools to allocate resources and cater to their needs with more impact and be more impactful. So we want to understand how we can help others and strengthen ourselves as well. And Freemind is one of the institutions that's within our scope. So that's it. Marco taught me something because when we do work, we need to have indicators. Indicators is important to assess social impact because donors want to apply their funds, but they want to make sure that what they are paying for, what they are funding, do have positive impact. Okay, good morning. It's an honor and a responsibility to be here representing the Institute Padre Haroldo and especially representing Father Haroldo because I know he's with us here. Father Haroldo was a supporter of Freemind, and it's beautiful to see how big it became. Congratulations, Paulo. So he gave you a seed and you multiplied it. So thinking about this responsibility as the chair of Instituto Padre Haroldo, which was created in 1978 before anti-alcohol and drug policies, and as soon as I became a volunteer at the institution, I used to come here with Padre Haroldo when we had Senadi, and it was the office of the presidency of the republic. So in the past, so that policy, the anti-drug policies made progress, and we have to make progress as well regarding good practices. And I also represent FEBRACT, which is the Brazilian Federation of Therapeutic Communities, which is present all over Brazil, and also assisting several institutions that work based on the therapeutic communities model, which is one of the models that's present in the country and that offers humanized intake services. And we have other models of catering to people, such as the Mother's House, because uh, it's the first place institution that caters to pregnant women in situation of who are homeless and face drug addiction. So it's, I think, as the Chancey, it's in its 10th anniversary, and the public policy anti-drugs and alcohol is diverse, and we must cater to our audience in all their needs. And Father also helped us a lot. We had the movement Faith in Prevention, which is to bring religious movements together to cater to people who are in this situation, helping the diversity of each one and welcoming everyone. So I'm very glad to say, Paulo, thank you very much for this space. And I truly wish that the anti-drugs policy makes progress and offering good services, having good practices, catering to the people who need based on public agreements, and we were able to help people who are in high social vulnerability. And then I'm talking in the names of intake institutions that work in according to the therapeutic communities model. So I'm also speaking in the name of this segment. Everything that we want is to work within public policies, offering good services and respecting human beings, respecting human rights, and taking care of public money. That's it, Alexis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulo. So, Father João Henrique, God bless each one of you. Our first seminar said, "Let's be blessed by the mighty, the Almighty." If you have the courage of staying here, I was said at the beginning, will be an amazing grace. If every one of us learned the grace of God and what God can and does for each one and in each one. This is a moment of communion. Thank you so much. I was born in Italy, but Brazil adopted me. Thank God. I arrived in Brazil in when I was 29. Now I'm 70. One day I met the street kid in Belo Horizonte who said, "Hey, please take me away from this life that I'm living." And that's when we began the Aliança de Misericórdia, a nightmare, in fact. But we started by sleeping on the streets to be the family of those that don't have family. I believe that the root of all problems is the family, the affective wounds that we have, and it's important to offer a space, a family, those that we intake in a humanized way is those that we also intake with a prevention work, treatment work, and we see that we have to offer them family. My father, before dying, he was a businessman from Sardinia. He said, "Henrique, we need to give what we are given. We cannot keep within us the love we receive," and that's how we try to work. With, and by sleeping on the streets with our brothers and intaking them in a humanized way, in a homeless way. And we also have the humanized intake in São Paulo, where we intake so many street kids throughout the day. It's a great challenge. And also the screening houses, the humanized intake houses, and the reinsertion houses. And we knew that some of our brothers, they have not the condition of going back to society, because this society is a problem that generates street people. We live in a society that does not value people for who she is or who he is, but for what they produce. So it's a challenge. That's where our dream was born. So it's Raham, say with me, Raham, that in Hebraic means mercy. Everyone that knows it's not just an intake, but he's not only intaken, but he's a member of the family. So in the city, which is the city we dream of, which we're dreaming a city for those have gone through a recovering process, opening to other communities so they can find a family. And I'd like to also say, when we had no structure at all, at the very beginning, the first people that we intook, they were very hard to control. But he said, "Father, I need to drink human blood, but I wasn't able to cut anyone here. I don't know why." And I said, "Great, that's great that you were not able to do that." And then after that, this youth, he was recovered, and we see that behind each person there's a story. Family means intaking in a humanized way the story, the challenge of our brother. To generate life, you have to give life. I was threatened 7 times against my life, but it's worth it for what we reap. And through the what we reap, we experience God. So thank you, Paulo. So we can, and I'd like to say, let's dream higher, always dream higher. Amen. Adalberto, I think there's a microphone somewhere here. Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure. It's a joy to be here. See the 10th Freemind happening. It's a great joy for me to be invited 12 years ago by Paulo and his brother, the De Martelli. With Fry Hans, we went to the Father Haroldo Institute in Campinas, where they showed us their proposal of free mind. It was a very beautiful and intense moment because there were only like the sacred cows there. Father Hans would say, "How are you going to teach us how to do things that we already know how to do?" He was really angry, but we together embraced this cause. And then we had the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, COVID stopped for 2 years. Now we're back on the 7th, the 10th. You listen, so you're actually listening to me. Okay, so we're at the 10th. And where will the 10th one be? Thank God I'm here in Brasilia, living here for 3 years with my family, my daughters and wife. And we were very well welcomed here, especially by the government. I'm a dear friend with Governor Ibanez, with the Secretary of the Governor, José Alberto, who supports us, welcomes us, and the Fazenda da Esperança. It's a dream come true, and today saves lives throughout the world. It's 113 units of Fazenda da Esperança in Brazil, and we have 65 other units in 29 countries. Fazenda da Esperança is on all continents, the Americas, Asia, Africa, and Europe, saving lives. It's technology raised in Brazil, a model of therapeutic community, which exported this model to other countries. I spoke to Fry Hans yesterday. He's at Ecuador visiting the fazendas of America. He's been to the US. Now he's at Ecuador, and then he will go to Colombia. We have 2 units in Colombia. He sends his warm regards to you, and he says, tell them, do not get tired. Don't get tired. Always be united to fight against the evil that the drugs are, the evil that touches the heart. When Father João Henrique said of the harms, of the pains we have in our lives that oftentimes take us to the drugs and to these behaviors that live today in modern society regarding the internet. Thank you, Paulo. Thank you for this specific time today of making this happen, making this amazing gathering happen among the legislative, executive. Here we have the vice governor of the São Paulo state. We have known each other for 30 years. We're from São José do Campo City. We used to work very closely with one another there at São José dos Campos. Thank you so much. Here, the National Secretary, Dr. Marta. I remember that in 2010, Senage, together with the University of Brasilia and University of Santa Catarina, created this course, Faith and Prevention, with General Uchoa at Fazenda Esperança in Guaratinguetá city. So we see civil society together with the executive power, the legislative power. Here we have the federal congresswoman, Beatriz Keys, who is the sponsor of the therapeutic communities here in the regions. Thank you so much. And another person that was very important, and I think she's the boss here of the federal district, of the governor, and Sueli, the secretary of Segovi. Sueli, thank you so much. Sueli made things happen here, also made it possible to have Freemind here. And of course, all of you, the audience, without you, we wouldn't have Freemind. And thank you, my family, to giving me the permit to travel throughout Brazil and being here with you guys today, with you wonderful people. Thank you, Adalberto. Now I'd like to also thank my wife. My wife is here, Denise. Raise your hand, Denise. My son Leo, my daughter-in-law. My wife always helped me a lot. You know, she's always supporting me, and it's not easy. So a great round of applause for my wife. Dr. Bartô. Dr. Bartô, he decides to work with prevention. I think prevention is sometimes left aside. And actually, we won an award in São Paulo last Thursday from Congressman Olim, that together with us has this program with us, Prevention in Action. There were so many people involved with prevention there, police, uniform police, non-uniform police, civil society, numbers of workers in prevention. We do have the workforce. We do have the workforce, but we have to improve the quality of the prevention. You know, the famous lectures in schools, that's not effective. We need a project that is persistent and continuous. And that's what the project Dr. Barso has done, training teachers to work prevention during the school year. That is left aside a bit by the administrative part, let's call it that way. But through education, it takes 17 years to change a behavior. There's are situations where the changing of behavior is more effective and the legislation is stronger. Today you're not smoking today here because it's prohibited by law, and this is here to stay, this new law. Now the student cannot take mobiles to school anymore because it's forbidden by law and it's here to stay. But we cannot regulate one minimal law to regulate the use of alcohol in this country. So we have to open our eyes for that too. There are things that are more effective than prevention through education. I'd like to remember politicians that we need strong laws about drugs. It's not possible. One cannot imagine that electronic cigar is forbidden in the country. Its import is forbidden, but you consume it and you buy it anywhere you want. That's something that it's inconceivable. It's a law that no one follows. So we'd like to count with the collaborations of everyone for prevention, and please come to visit our booth. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lutovo. Dr. Hermano Tavares, please, the floor is yours. Good morning. I'd like to start thanking the attendance of everyone here at the panel and the Freemind movement on behalf of Paulo. Paulo is a special character. He has two features that I would like to have. The capacity of communication, that is amazing. A capacity of aggregation, that is also amazing. That's a very special combination. But I'd like to thank your attendance here, sitting down. Everything we do is for you and because of you. You're probably hungry now and you're still sitting down, so thank you so much. This is for you and because of you and the people that you want and try to help. My part here, which is a small fraction, is about betting and behavioral addictions. These activities have gained a very strong strength after the COVID and the progressive digitalization of our lives, with a complete new group of challenges, of things we have to be very pay attention to. I will not be able to list all of them here because we have to be brief, but I'd like to call the attention for you. Betting, online betting. It's as if out of a sudden you had this magic bottle in your pocket. This magic bottle is magical, but it's evil. It's magical. It has the alcohol of your choice at a volume that never ends. If you're bored, okay, we'll change it and you will drink it, and it never stops because it's magic, and it's in the pocket of each Brazilian. Okay, you became crazy, call the psychiatrists, but you're there with your smartphone in your pocket right now. Some of you are filming me with it, and there is the magic bottle, because just by 2 clicks you can access an online betting app. It's endless. The game you want 24/7, the game you want 24/7, the bet you want 24/7. You don't have to leave your house. You can do it in your bathroom, you can do it in your office, you can bet in your office, in your house. Some people are doing it at the reception of our clinic.
So, as I said, as my colleague Lotufo said now, we need legislation, we need laws, we need effective laws. We need to discuss the phenomenon of communication, Paulo. I'm from the generation that we play ball and we can never win. Useless. And then a guy was there and he won. But it was not good. It was in the penalties against Italy. And then in 2002, the guy that's an idol for my entire generation, Ronaldo Phenomenal, he plays poker. Okay. It's his choice. Neymar. I don't have anything to do with him. He doesn't represent me. But my children, the younger generation, they say, no, don't say bad things about Neymar. But tell Neymar stop to promote betting. He promotes betting. So understand the problem here. We have soccer players, famous soccer players. When I started working with this 30 years ago, people asked me, what are you doing? The problem is alcohol and drugs. Today we have soccer, famous soccer players involved with that. I know if I should by mention name, Lucas Paquetá, Bruno Henrique. Do you know our children? You know them. Our children know them. And that must change. Well, that's it. Let's take advantage of this event and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Dr. Hermano. Barbara, can you speak Portuñol? This very slow so that we can all understand. I'm sorry. I will start taking Portuñol classes, but my speech is in Spanish. I wrote it so that I could speak a little bit slower, and I hope you can understand the main idea of what I'm saying. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today with all of you and to share this roundtable with all these authorities here today. So it's an honor to be here celebrating the 10th edition of the International Congress Freemind, Brazil, in this beautiful city of Brasilia. So this event will also have the pleasure to officially relaunch the national chapter of ISA Brazil. And well, soon I will invite you. And I'd also like to express the salutations of Joana Travis, who is the executive director of ISOP Global and wishes this Congress to be a success. So ISOP is an international organization that in 2025 we complete 10 years of existence. So its goal is to bring knowledge to a Brazilian workforce for the prevention, treatment, and support to the recovery of addicts. The inscription is free, and we give members access to tools for their professional development and also support networks. Currently, we have over 47,000 members throughout the world, and we work through 4 main axes. Our webpage, we have training, events, and our national chapters. We have 41 national chapters in the entire world, in America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. Our national chapters are the pillars of ISOP, and they help us follow its mission. ISOP is an international association of professionals that work with substance use. But when you talk about professionals, we're talking about labor force. All people who contribute and seek to improve the lives of millions of people. They can be family members, youth volunteers, education professionals, law enforcement, doctors, people who work in faith-based organizations, and people who work in the control of drug use. Throughout the last decade, ISOP has consolidated itself as a leadership to help develop a workforce that's connected and is skilled and recognized within the substance use field. So we seek to prevent and give treatment, but to ensure that we have recognized it in its complexity and amplification, we are trying to multiply its work to reach law enforcement agencies and workers. And also, we work to reduce the availability of unlawful substances and keep public safety. People like you, like us, who are here today in this event, we work tirelessly in this field, and we make the true difference. Us, as international organization, we seek to support the work you already do and be able to contribute to the impact, the positive impact of your work, whose aim is to improve the lives of those whose lives are affected by substance abuse. So I'd like to congratulate especially my friend Paulo Martelli, Samuel Giselle, and all the Freemind team for this type of event, because these events are increasingly inclusive and big and always better. Thank you very much, CICAD. André is representing CICAD, which is our main collaboration and always supports the activities of a stronger Latin America, and who also supports our national chapters in Latin America. And as Paulo said, we'll do this relaunch of ISUP Brazil on Tuesday, November 18th at 10 a.m. at the Águas Claras Auditorium. So you are all invited to know this new group of ISOP Brazil, and it is comprised by 4 big Brazilian organizations, which are our friends from the ABACI, EBRACTI, and of course, Freemind. Our mission will always be to join forces to strengthen the workforce and train professionals who work in this field so that their work is more impactful and effective. ISUP hopes to together strengthen the forces of all individuals who work in this field so that people are more healthy and safe. Thank you very much, everyone, for your support, and all the members. If you're not member yet, please register yourself and please support the activities of ISUP Brazil. Thank you very much. So in your bag, you'll have an ISUP leaflet, and you have the QR code so that you can associate to ISUP. It's free, and you have access to a series of things. André Escobar, representing the Organization of the American States. A round of applause. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished members of this roundtable, government authorities, representatives of civil society, and participants. Please receive my salutation in the name of Jimena Kalowski, which is the chief of the demand reduction by the Inter-American Commission for the Control of Drug Use of the Organization of American States. It's a pleasure to be here in this 10th Freemind Congress. CICAD, as you know, is the agency of the Organization of American States on the issue of drugs. So we promote the exchange of experience among member states regarding the world problem that is the drug use. So we offer technical assistance to strengthen the capacities to reduce demand, to mitigate the negative effects of the use of substance. So the world problem of drugs is a global challenge that affects public health, safety, human rights, the environment, the well-being of our communities. It also promotes issues to sustainable development and democratic institutions. So this challenge can only be addressed in a multilateral way through the principle of common joint responsibility and address it, while having an integral focus based on scientific evidence and fully respecting human rights. In 2020, the member states of the Organization of American States approved in a consensus a strategy against drugs. It's a plan of action 2020-2025. Currently, we are working to draft a new action plan from 2026-2030, which will continue to serve as a guidebook for the development of policies and strategies on this issue. This year, CICAD signed an MOU with ISOP, establishing a landmark for cooperation, a framework of cooperation to strengthen the national chapters in Latin America and the Caribbean. So through this alliance, CICAD has been collaborating with the chapters in Argentina, Bahamas, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, Panama, Paraguay, and Peru, leveraging programs that aim at treat and prevent, as well as specialized workshops to train for those who work with drug demand reduction. So this year we are implementing a training for organizations, for faith-based organizations, a program that took place in 9 Latin American countries and that the next year will be taken to the Caribbean as well. But which are the main goals of this course? To make faith-based organizations, workers, give them tools to prevent, treat within the field of drug use, and also to support local networks that focus on follow-up, strengthen communities as well. We also intend to reinforce programs affected by the problematic consumption of drugs. Up to this date, we have already trained over 350 participants from different faith-based organizations. So the syllabus was completed in the first semester of 2025, and it's ready to be implemented in other countries. Last year, during the Freemind Congress, we had the opportunity to conduct an introductory workshop of this syllabus. And this is the first time that we will offer the full training, which represents a significant progress in our collaboration with faith-based organizations in Brazil. I also wish to highlight that CICAD has been working in collaboration with Freemind contracts for 10 years. We're already 10 years, Paulo. Participating in training activities and promoting the participation of international experts in different panels. We deeply value this collaboration, this profound collaboration, and we hope to continue to strengthen it further. We sincerely thank you, Paulo Martelli, and we thank your team for your leadership and dedication in the organization of such an important event. CICAD will continue to prioritize prevention and treatment of psychoactive substance use, driving the training of professionals and the active participation of young people to design and implement prevention programs and quality ones. I'd like to take this opportunity to give emphasis to the fight against issues which limits access to treatment, and we want to give a response that's more effective, human, and inclusive.
Before I conclude, I'd like to recognize my gratitude to Brazilian authorities. ISA Brazil, which is relaunching itself through in this Congress that I just mentioned, the Office of International and Application of Law, ANEL, and the Department of State of the United States through its financial support and the work that SICAD operations with curriculum of organization, faith-based organizations, allowing us to work closely with the different chapters ISAP in the Americas. And to conclude, I'd like to thank Freemind once again for organizing this amazing conference that for sure will contribute significantly to strengthen the strategies of preventing and treating, recovering, and socially including people that are facing problems with drugs. Thank you so much. So to continue, Rossini, please, the floor is yours. Good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank Paulo Martelli, the entire team that has organized, prepared this event. It's not easy to organize an event this size. Congratulations. So I'd like to ask the permission for our Vice Governor of the state of São Paulo, Felício Ramute, and the Congresswoman Bia Kicis, on your behalf, greet all authorities and on the panel, in the audience, and also Denise, the coordinator of the Pastoral of Sobriety, and all self-help groups that act in this area. In the institutional video that presented Freemind, it says that this is the encounter of people of courage. And Aldo recall the first meeting of all at Father Haroldo Institute when we launched the idea. And I was also one of the sacred cows that was there. And people of courage, this expression made me think of something that once someone asked Father Haroldo, Father, why is it that a father, a Jesuit American from Texas, decided to come to Brazil and dedicate his life to take care of drug addicts? And Father Haroldo, with his peculiar humor, mentioned the story as an answer. He said there was a very rich farmer once, and this rich farmer had an only daughter, single daughter, and she thought it was a time for him to try to find a boyfriend, a husband for him. So he made this party at his farm and invited all the single men at the region. He was a very traditional farmer, and he really valued courage in a man. And to marry my daughter, the guy needs to show that he is courageous. So he took everyone, put by the pool, and said, I prepared this pool. I put some alligators in the pool, some other threatening animals, and you look at the pool. If you have the courage of crossing this pool swimming, when you reach the other side, you can marry my daughter. And everyone went silent, like the one we're having here. And then someone got into the pool, and on the outside, everyone shouting, cheering. The alligators coming from a side and another, and the person reached the other side of the pool. And this really small, skinny guy, all scratched, and he said, well, congratulations, you're courageous. Do you want to marry my daughter? And he said, no, I don't. So, because I value courage, I will give you part of my farmer. No, I don't want your farm, part of your land. What do you want then? I want to know who was the son of a bitch that pushed me into the pool. I don't know who it was. I don't know who pushed you into the pool. But if you're here today, it's because you have courage. Because facing the reality of drugs, dependencies, addictions is not easy. Dedicating your life voluntarily or professionally of taking care of these people is something that demands first really liking people. You have to do it with love, respect, passion, and know how to do it well done. That is why this Congress is to train all of us so that we can fulfill our mission that we took as a purpose in life to help those that need it. In the pastoral of sobriety, we say our mission is to make those that were left aside by society those that we prefer to take care of. So, Dr. Lotufu, Dr. Hermano, I'm a councilman in Campinas. We work with local public policies, and I created long time ago the municipal council on the policies to fight drugs, and so we do have laws. But more than that, it's difficult to face a cultural reality of Brazil. Culturally, Brazil is irresponsible regarding how they treat the consumption of alcohol. And when we talk about alcohol and the youth and teenagers, we are very irresponsible in this sense. And we have a movement in Brazil that wants to legalize all drugs. So we have fighting in society and with society, and it's not easy. I think each one of us within our realm of actuation need to remain strong in our purpose, but it's not just courage. We have to train ourselves, and Freemind is here for that, to give us information, knowledge, and that we leave here better and more prepared for this fight. Congratulations. God bless you all. Okay, Bia Kisses, the floor is yours. Good morning. Paulo, thank you so much for this invitation. It's a great joy to be here. As Adalberto said, I am the sponsor of the therapeutic communities in the federal district. So that is why it's a joy to be here. Edu Cabral, my dear friend, cannot be here, but my regards to you and the entire equipment here, the teams, people that I've never met before are meeting today, people that I have already known. It's a great joy to be with all of you and the audience, dear friends like Celia, on behalf of those that work with the therapeutic communities. It's not an easy job for sure. And I arrived here at this Freemind Congress it's the first time that I participate. I already knew about it, but I had never participated. Alexis, a very dear friend of the Congress. So nice to have you here as a businessman, helping this agenda. Other businessmen, we know how hard it is to get financial sponsorship, get the money to do this type of movement, because we know that there are several NGOs, institutions, international ones actually, that are pouring money to promote drugs, to promote addiction, and we don't want that. So we need to unite and fight against that. In my term of office, I have fighting for life, to defend freedom, to defend families, to defend our Brazil that we love so much, the truth, and that we can defend the word of God. So it's not easy, but thank God we have several people here that are engaged in this fight. In this political scenario, whether executive, and here I'd like to mention my dear friend Zé Humberto, whether in the legislative, so many colleagues working together. But we know that there is a very strong movement to release drugs, as it was said here. And today it's not just against alcohol or marijuana, the licit and illicit drugs. We have games. We have the bettings games, the digital betting games, and this isolates our youth that end up becoming increasingly more isolated from their family, society, oftentimes going from an euphoria to a depression state. We have the specialists to mention, just to show that we are paying great attention to that. We have a project right now that has become urgent in the plenary, which project 399 of 2015, which is a very threatening project because with this excuse of regulating the use of cannabis to help people that actually suffer problems, psychiatrical and psychic problems, and in fact improve with the use of the substance. And no one's here against the use of the substance, but this project, it will release the planting of cannabis in Brazil. That's a very dangerous project, and it's saddening to me to see that most people of the Congress saying it's urgent to vote this project. We want to help people that suffer with these diseases, that are resistant to other types of drugs, that are can have a better life with the use of the substance. But we cannot release plantation in Brazil, even so, because federal police does not have the equipment to surveil it, for surveillance of it. So I ask for help, maybe a campaign right now, so that we can get over and win this agenda, because it will be a disaster in Brazil. So you can count on me always. I'm sure that we need to talk about spirituality. No one can be able to actually get free from such serious problems, such as addiction, whether digital, whether marijuana, alcohol, if you do not have a spiritual support. Tá. Seeing this agenda, this movement is worrying, that wants to remove the word spirituality, the spiritual support from the treatment, from prevention and cure. Together, alone, we're not enough, and we need to be humble, as Paulo said. Paulo, I want that text of your brother that you read. Beautiful text. It's very emotional. I want that text. Please give me a copy, because I was very touched by it. And you talk about being humble there. We need to be humble before the one that can redeem us. So those that are free, that are the survivors, the families, the public agents. Marta, you have such an important mission, my dear. I was one of the great sponsors of Senapred. We had Dr. Quirino, who was the secretary. He was a secretary targeted toward prevention, and it was a priority agenda of the Bolsonaro government. You have this mission in your hands, Marta. It's so good that you're here. I'm very happy to see a woman here. Because we women, we are mothers, we are grandmothers, and to us, this is an issue of dignity, honor, and life. This is a love that moves us, and this is the love that we want to use for this specific work with all of you. Congratulations to the families that do not give up, dedicate their lives for such important agenda. You can count on me. Thank you so much.
Ó, feliz hoje.
I'm
Feliz, né? Bom dia, pessoal.
Good morning. Very special good morning to all of you who are not from Brasilia. Please raise your hand who's from Brasilia. A round of applause to our Brazilian-born citizens. But who is not from Brasilia? Please, you are all welcome. In the name of the federal district government, it's a pleasure to have you here. Paulo, why don't we give up? We could have given up, right? But it's difficult because it's so difficult. Zé Humberto every day, Sueli, we do not give up because we heard here many testimonies that lead us to reality. And Bia, you represent this very well. It's our family, our faith, our belief, the certainty that we can be useful to human beings. Who of us has not lived a bad experience with a family member? And those who have not lived, I certainly do not wish that, but please, you are at the risk of experiencing something like that. I'm the father of 4 children. I have 8 wonderful, great children, 2 women and 6 boys. I was coming in this auditorium as a Santos supporter. I think a lot about the past. For over 40 years ago, I entered this auditorium as a graduate in business administration. I was the speaker of our class, and I took a photo in that stairs that you take those stairs to get here. And that young man who wanted to win in life one day was asked to be member of the association of the children worker. So we started to see reality, different realities of different people. Life went on, and thank God he became a businessman, a successful businessman here in Brasilia. Some of you know Planatão Supermarket, which I owned. I'm sorry. Then I was called to the government after I sold my supermarket chain. Someone here in Campinas, I think it's friend of Galassi. I was chair of the association of the Brazilian Association of Supermarkets. Then I came to the government and the first government as administrator, then secretary of government, and now 7 years as secretary of government. And then we start getting in direct touch with the reality of society. As a businessman, Alex knows that we already had that sensitivity. But when you become part of the government, you see that the government is incapable of alone provide this assistance and this service that the community needs. That's like I'd like to greet each one of you. You are brave. Do not give up. Because you have and you make those who are our family members and those who are not, you help them have a better perspective in their lives. I know one brother and a couple of brothers that were drug addicts, and one of them now is one of the most fundamental men in our family. He is a very successful businessman. And my grandson went out with me yesterday. He's 16. We went to a concert and Sueli was there. I was not going to enter the concert because I thought it was a party and it was a nightclub. And I said, I'm not going in that nightclub. But since it was the birthday of a great friend, I thought, oh my God, why I'm here with my grandson? He's only 16. And I was desperate. But then I was pushed into, not to inside the pool, but inside the nightclub. And there was a lounge for us. And the first thing we saw when we got to the lounge was whiskey, beer, Red Bull, and me. I was there with my grandchild. I didn't know what to do because I wanted to leave, take them away from that place. Oh my God, how can I do something like that? My daughter, Tatiana, who is a friend of Bia, she's a Catholic. She's an amazing woman, amazing person, and she took us to Canção Nova. I thought my daughter will kill me. I cannot stay here. But then I thought, what should I do? I took my grandchildren. I went to a stand the other side of the street where there was a stall there. We sat down, we had a soda, water, we ate something and went home. And I thought, oh, thank God nobody saw me here or recorded me here, neither my grandson, because my daughter will still let me take them with me to do things. So I'm saying that because I want to tell you the risk that society puts us into. And we must do what's important for us. And it's important to take this type of attitude to defend ourselves because we believe in God. And we cannot let children, teenagers who have mobile phones in their hands, we cannot let them enter in this tunnel, which is unfortunately it's a dark tunnel. And no one knows if they will reach the other side. But that's what we have as human beings. So we welcome in the name of our Governor Ibanez, our Vice Governor Celina, everyone from Sejus, our Secretary Marcela, Juvenal, Jaime, firefighters who are here, all of you who promoted this courage here. And I said, even wearing a Santos jersey, I would tell you, Paulo, let's not give up. It will happen. And thank God it is happening. Thank you very much. Thank you, Zé. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Samuel Falcão, please. Good morning. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank Paulo Martelli, congratulate him, his team, Dedé Martelli, for this event. The great day has come. Paulo is very committed to Freemind, to this Congress. His wife is over there, his son. May God continue to bless your family and your project and the team, Dedé Martelli. We were there a few years ago in Palácio dos Bandeirantes talking to Dedé, and we see that he actually talks about the humanized intake policy from the bottom of his heart. So important to have people like him promoting this in our country. So I'd like to salute everyone, São Paulo's vice governors, Marta Machado. I greet you all. It's a great honor to be part of this event. I'd like to greet especially all therapeutic communities. Are there therapeutic communities here? To all federations of therapeutic communities, of all delegations, but especially salute the delegation of Piauí State, represented here by Karina, who is the Anti-Drug Policy Director, Gleuda from São Paulo, Mara, Director of Prevention of SENADE, our entire team, all of us who are here today. The department promotes a great work of developing a humanized intake policy for people with drug addiction. I have here Marta through SENADE. She does management, policy of social reinsertion, prevention. And here the Ministry of Social Development. We have here our Minister Eliton Dias, who would like to be here, but due to his agenda, other commitments, he has been working a lot. You know that Wellington, He removed Brazil from the map of hunger. He's a leader of the Global Alliance Against Hunger. So due to his international agendas, the copy agendas, he could not be here today, but you know he's committed with such an important agenda to regarding the agenda of the to offer humanized intake for people with drug addiction. We have Diego, our coordinator, Daniele, Estevão, Viviane. It's through this team that we work every day tirelessly so that we can reach the results that are proposed in the strategic planning of MDS. And we work with training, monitoring, surveillance, research studies to strengthen the work of therapeutic communities, because the serious ones, right, that conduct good work and develop great work throughout the country. And I'd like to use the opportunity to invite you. We are here on the 18th. We have a day for. We have Dr. Emanuel Fortes from CFM who will talk about the resolution that addresses previous medical evaluation, medical assessment. He will be here with us today. We'll have a speech, then debates, then the challenge of psychiatric reform in Brazil with Paulo Delgado, who is the author of the psychiatric reform law. So he will be here talking to us. Then we'll have Dr. Aurelio Sarafis from the Fluminense University will talk about the transformative role of universities in strengthening public policies. We'll also have Reinaldo Azevedo, who will talk about the results of monitoring that were conducted throughout 2025. He will talk about that here in Freemind, together with our coordinator, Gilda Elias, who also coordinates this work, and Dr. Reinaldo Mapelli, who is a prosecutor of São Paulo, and he will talk about therapeutic communities from the perspective of law. So I'd like to invite you to participate in this very important day in Freemind. Please visit our stall where we'll talk about contracts, partnership agreements, parliamentary amendments, monitoring, everything that we addressed today in our department. And I'd like to take this opportunity, Paulo, to give some news. Who are therapeutic communities? Please raise your hands. We have many representatives today, many delegations from all over Brazil. And I'd like to give you first-hand news. Here in Freemind, we have had a recent result regarding the accreditation public call, where we accredited various therapeutic communities, both for women, mothers, male, and pro-Nazi cities. And the result came out recently, and tomorrow it will be published in our official gazette, the publication of all entities for hiring. This is the federal government committed to its goal, so doing that in 2025. So with that, we will reach over 16,000 vacancies in therapeutic communities. So the government of President Lula is working on this cause. So thank you very much. Felicio, please. Good morning. Thank you, Paulo Martelli, for this invitation to Freemind. I really feel at home here with many of you. I've had the opportunity to work together with you, to visit you in your missions, and congratulate you, Martelli. Each year, Freemind overcomes itself. So today we have a great agenda of workshops, and this brilliant opening. So before greeting my fellow panelists here, I'd like to ask the authorization of authorities to start by making a special greeting. It's special because I believe you have been following the work of the state of São Paulo, and I will share with you a headline from a newspaper said that the end of crackland is the triumph of citizenship. So my special greeting to the teams that were fundamental for us to reach this result. And these teams are the teams of therapeutic communities. Without the partnership of each one of you, it would have been impossible for the state of São Paulo to reach the result it has reached. So I'd like to salute each one of you, professionals of therapeutic communities, and our public managers who believe in therapeutic communities as a tool to transform our country and our state. Thank you very much for your work.
When we are ideologically disputing, we stop serving. I knew the therapeutic communities could have done much more if they didn't have to lose their time defending their service. I think that's in the past. Now we have to look ahead and do much more for our country, our states, using expertise, care, and the attention dedicated to each one of you. Our Secretary Marta, José Alberto, thank you so much for being here. Our representatives of the Secretary of District Federal, Samuel, who just gave us great news to the therapeutic communities. Biakisis, our Congress woman that has as an agenda this topic. Our councilman from Campinas, Andrea from OAS, Barbara from ISUP, Hermano from the University of São Paulo, Adalberto was my bank account manager. My account was small, right? João Henrique father, I was able to visit him in loco and see the work he makes. Lucia, president of the Father Haroldo Institute, Dr. Lotufo from the Brazilian Society of Pediatrics, pediatrician, Alexis and Marco believes in our cause. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank with all of you an experience of ours, the state of São Paulo, 2 Freeminds ago, the 8th Freemind in São José dos Campos. We had the opportunity, just like we do the coming days, to get to know an international group that talked about prevention, the best way of being able to act in terms of prevention. And next year, thanks to the work that began in Freemind, the state of São Paulo will have the greatest program of prevention of Brazil. It began here with your teams, your invitees that brought the expertise, and you continued work in São Paulo State. And that's the difference of Freemind. We leave the rooms. We don't only talk, we act. So here you have great opportunity in the following days, you and the public managers, to see a case of successes, cases of failure, and learn from the failures so that can we move on. And to conclude, at 2 p.m., I will be on the Alvorada Auditorium to say how we were able to reach this work regarding the end of Cracolândia and social housing and public safety policies united together. I will detail to the technicians how we reached this place and giving a spoiler saying that the work has not ended. The work continues in the São Paulo state, downtown São Paulo city, also expanding throughout the countryside of São Paulo. It would be a privilege to me to share this experience with you. Glad that will help us with us because the issue of the open use space has been spreading out throughout the other capitals of our country. So I think we could use the experience of São Paulo and adapt it to the reality of your state. And we'll talk a bit also what didn't work so we could actually reach this specific result we have reached regarding the Cracolandia. And to be brief, I'd like to also thank Martelli. Martelli and his family and his brother, the capacity of uniting people. Your credibility allows for that. Martelli here on Freemind, we see this unity for public policies. We are born dependent. We depend on our parents to feed us. When we are adults, we believe that we're independent, but that's a mistake. We are all interdependents. We depend on each other. In public policies, it's not different than that. It would be impossible to reach the result we reached if we had not brought civil society, our legislative, the mayor of São Paulo City, and that's what we see here, Martelli. Freemind has as its base ground. It's been bringing attracting the entities of the federation. We have our congresswoman representing the Congress, our councilman representing the local House of Representatives. So I'd like to thank this opportunity that Freemind and God gave me and invite once again you guys that together we continue building the state, city, and the country of our dreams. God bless you all. Thank you. Uh, Nearly lunchtime, but now still we have Marta, my dear friend Marta. We had the pleasure to meet her, and she's this lady. She has a heart of gold. It's not easy to be where she is, but her heart is even bigger than the office she runs. Marta, please, the floor is yours. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank everyone that is here. Nearly good afternoon. And for you also who committed to be here this Sunday morning really shows your commitment and dedication to policies against drugs. So thank you, first of all, you, Paulo Martelli, everyone from Freemind that were able to unite everyone. It's not an easy task, but shows the power of this alliance that we have here today. We say that to care. There's an African proverb that everyone knows to take care of our children, of our teens, of our youth, we need a village. And that's what this panel represents. We need an interfederative pact. We have we have the state, we have the local power, the state power, the federal power, public power, private power, different religions. This shows us, Paulo, the power of this alliance that with your dedication, with the characteristics of a lot of dialogue, a person that really values dialogue, this posture, this stance that you have. I'd like to thank all of you here, all the present authorities, on the behalf of our Congresswoman Biaquices and Padre João Henrique, on behalf of him, all the members of the civil society. And this is the union that will make you go ahead. Like the vice governor just said, policy against drugs is not easy. It is often captured of a very idealized debate, which makes public policies lose. People that really need public policy cannot have it, serve it. So that's a great commitment we have here to learn with others, learn with other people, other ideas, to dialogue most of all, so that public policy, in fact, moves forward and actually serve those that need the most. That's our commitment since the beginning of our term of office, a term of office that dialogues with everyone, that is very concerned of looking at evidence. So public policy needs to be based on evidence. All public administrators have a very big responsibility when you're controlling and control evidence, knowing that money will not be wasted, and thinking of people. And since the beginning, we talk about the policies against drugs, always having people in the center, listening to the story of lives. Many times, violence stories full of violence, vulnerabilities, traumas that create emptiness in people. And we need to look at these vulnerabilities, these stories, in such in a country that is so unequal like Brazil. So these stories lead to very problematic uses in people that lack of bonds, affection, policies, rights, and losing their lives to to several problematic use, not just substance, but gaming, internet, the different ways that these people and fulfilling this void, this inner void. That's why we have this policies against drugs, looking at the vulnerabilities of people, how we can make people access their rights so that little by little they can recover their dignity. Little by little, they don't have to use drugs because they're cold or hungry or on the streets, but we can fulfill their needs, and then we're able to reach the problem of the substance and reduce consumption, uh, recover family bonds. And I think what really calls attention here in all my talks, the all talks coming before me, is the commitment to people, this scenario of great vulnerability, and how we can help people. That is the motto. How can we help people? And how can we help people that want to help people? That's beautiful. I'd like to talk about prevention. That's one of the flags, the flagships of our secretariat. So Congresswoman mentioned prevention, Councilman mentioned prevention. We believe in prevention. There's international evidence that shows $1 invested in prevention. This is an international study, is a saving of $10 in the future in spending these $10, saving it from spending in hospitals, internal admissions in hospitals, and so on. So we have to protect our children, teenagers, youth. This is an effort that is worthwhile and that we will reap what we sow today in the future. If we care about this agenda, that's very rare, because we know that the production, the result of prevention is only seen in the future. It's a long-term result. So we need administrators that have this intention, that want to create structuring public policies that lead to results in the future. I'd like to thank also Nara, who is our director of prevention and social reinsertion, that has been leading in a very brilliant way our policy. Today we'll have an entire day dedicated to presenting the policies of SENAGE, a program called Prevention and Citizenship, where we work broadly. And I'd like to also say that the interfederative effort, we're only able to have this program because we have an intense partnership with states and municipalities, because we have to go to the schools, work with teachers. It's a universal prevention program based on evidence, working with teachers in the social assistance network, also working a program called Family Strong Families. How can we take care of families and support families so that families have the skills, parental skills, to listen to their kids, so that instead of making their kids move away, make them come back. So that is one of the programs based on evidence that we are massifying. And also centers of access to rights and social inclusion targeted at policies against drugs. And so we have so many programs and fronts. So if you're here tomorrow, I hope you can listen a bit about our programs. Whether if you're a municipal administrator, you can take these programs to your cities and towns, and we can help you implement them in your towns. The Ministry of Justice and Senad, we're completely open to dialogue. Addiction, chemical addiction, is a very complex idea. We need several approaches. People are complex, and we need this union. My voice is going away. I'm just very thirsty. But thank you so much, Paulo. Tadinho. Paulo, everyone, all of you for your commitment to the policy against drugs. I'm here to help you, to talk to you. Okay, we are at our stand. If you want to visit us, this panel and this environment of union will make the policies move ahead. Thank you and have a great lunch. Thank you, Marta. Before ending the panel and having the official picture of the opening, just a few important messages, reminders. First of all, thank you all of you that are here. Thank you, the friends of Freemind, all federations. Freemind as tagline has the spirit of unity. That is what we aim. The entire program is on our website and it says program. But I'm going to at the beginning of each auditorium, which is the Planalto Auditorium, Águas Claras Planetarium, Buriti at the entrance. Okay, at the entrance of each auditorium, you have the program. Okay, and who are those participating in the programs? Because it's more than 120 people lecturing and being part of these panels. Today at Águas Claras, in the afternoon, we have support groups, and in Alvorada, the auditorium, Felicio will speak. I will be there, Felicio.
Tomorrow we have Senad Day in the Alvorada Auditorium, and we will have in Buriti digital addiction in the morning with Dr. Hermano. In the afternoon, we'll have Abead. In the Alvorada, we have a Confenact Day of my friend Célio. On the 18th, we have the PAD Day in Alvorada. We have the courses from São Paulo with Paulo. In which Paulo will talk about. We have Sustainability Arena in the afternoon. It will be great. So they want to get 25 million to put in projects, but that will have indicators. So it's important for you to understand how the private sector sees that. On the 19th, we will have in Alvorada the National Forum of Councils. Erison is taking care of that. In Buriti, in the afternoon, we have the Education Arena, which is the team from educational systems who are our sponsors, and they will talk about the importance of developing that. And in the afternoon, we'll have the CT of promoting health and education. So many things, many people. I'd like to thank my team. We'll be very strict with our schedule. Otherwise, we'll not be able to deliver everything we need to deliver. So please be strict with your schedule. And we have over 1,700 registration, and we have less seats than that. So whoever arrives late will be standing, will not sit. So let's take an official picture.